Have you noticed your mind keeps thinking, even when nothing is happening? Thoughts repeat, the same patterns, the same loops. And the strange part is, more thinking doesn't make it clearer. It actually pulls you out of what's happening. So before we step back into explanation, I want to offer something simply. Throughout these talks, we've been exploring how consciousness moves. Not just how we think about it, but how it actually lives through us. And one of the key ideas that's come through is this: physical intelligence has a natural limit. There is a point where increasing complexity no longer deepens awareness and can even begin to pull us away from it. That can sound a bit abstract, so let me slow it down and put it into everyday terms. We tend to assume something very simple, that as life becomes more advanced, it also becomes more conscious, that smarter beings must actually be more aware. And honestly, that assumption feels reasonable. But when you look at it closely, at your own experience, it starts to fall apart. Being more intelligent doesn't necessarily mean being more aware. Sometimes it just means being more inside thought. Think about a very simple animal: a bird, a deer, a dog. When it sees, it sees. When it hears, it hears. When it's tired, it rests. There's no ongoing commentary about what's happening. Its experience is direct, immediate, unfiltered. Now compare that to us. We don't just experience life, we think about it. We analyze it, replay it, judge it. We imagine just what happened and what might happen next. That ability is powerful. It's how we plan, create, build, understand. It's the foundation of science, technology, and culture. But it comes at a cost, because thinking about experience pulls attention away from simply being in the experience. Most of us recognize this. You can be driving and suddenly realize you don't remember the last few minutes. You can be eating and barely taste the food. You can be sitting with someone you care about and be somewhere else in your head. The mind is active, busy, intelligent, but awareness, simple present, is reduced. So more thinking doesn't always mean more awareness. That's the key. And I'm not saying humans are less conscious. That's not the point. What I'm saying is much simpler. Intelligence and awareness don't grow in the same way. Intelligence grows by adding things, more information, more memory, more complexity, more ways of understanding. But awareness doesn't grow by adding. Awareness becomes clearer when there's less in the way. Intelligence helps us navigate the world. It helps us solve problems, predict outcomes, make decisions. But awareness is what allows life to actually be felt. Be present without commentary, running over everything. As the mind becomes more complex, it becomes more powerful. But complexity doesn't automatically bring clarity. In many cases, it does the opposite. Highly intelligent people are often anxious, overwhelmed, or disconnected, not because they lack intelligence, but because the mind never rests. You can know more and feel less connected at the same time. Knowledge and awareness don't grow together. Now, here's something we don't often stop to consider. Physical intelligence has limits, not because something stops it, but because complexity has a cost. As any system becomes more complex, it needs more energy, more coordination, more internal management, just to keep it working. At some point, adding more doesn't improve the system. It creates friction. We see this everywhere. More rules don't always make organizations better. More features don't always make technology easier. More analysis doesn't always make decisions clearer. The same applies here. Beyond a certain point, more complexity leads to less clarity, more internal noise, and less direct contact with what's happening. That's the ceiling, not a hard wall, not a number, just a point where intelligence can keep growing, but awareness doesn't automatically follow. You can become more intelligent and less present at the same time. That doesn't mean intelligence is a mistake. It just means it has limits. And one of those limits is this: intelligence alone cannot create awareness. That's why moments of clarity often feel simple, quiet, direct. They don't come from building something up. They come when something settles down. Less thinking, less interference, more presence. So the point isn't that simpler life forms are better, and it isn't that humans are failing. It's that intelligence and awareness move in different directions. One builds outward through complexity. The other opens when that complexity quiets. Evolution is incredibly good at building complexity, but awareness doesn't scale endlessly with it. And this is where things start to matter, because if increasing complexity doesn't lead to greater awareness, then something else must be happening, something about the structure of the mind itself. And that's what we'll look at next, because if thinking can pull us away from awareness, then understanding what is creating that pattern changes everything.